Good afternoon. From the KUOW newsroom, this is Seattle Now. I'm Paige Browning with a roundup of today's top stories. It's Tuesday, September 16th. Our big story starts with a wrongly accused woman. A Seattle woman says she is still getting threats a week after she was falsely accused of being connected to the murder of Charlie Kirk. Michaela, who's going by just her first name to avoid more harassment, says she was targeted in part because she's a trans woman. She says online sleuths wrongly linked her profile picture on the site X to an unrelated account, which led to waves of verbal abuse and death threats.
It was very clear to me from the moment that Charlie got shot that the right wanted this to be a trans woman. That's why my picture spread like wildfire. That's why everyone was so quick to jump on it, because we've been demonized.
Michaela says many of the offending posts are still up, even after being reported and debunked. You can hear her whole conversation at KUOW.org. The suspect in the shooting, a 22-year-old male, was charged with aggravated murder today. Washington state's taking a stance on the use of the National Guard by the Trump administration. The state says Trump has used his deployment power unlawfully in Washington, D.C. Today, Washington's Attorney General Nick Brown signed an amicus brief with 22 other AGs to seek an injunction for D.C. Brown says it's an issue of upholding the Constitution, which prohibits the use of soldiers as local law enforcement. Trump sent National Guard troops into D.C. despite no requests from the city and has threatened to send troops to other Democratic strongholds. A few shorter stories to get you caught up on today. First, yes, that is volcanic ash in the air. Ash from Mount St. Helens is stirring above and near the volcano today, but no eruptions in progress. The U.S. Geological Survey says strong winds have stirred up the loose ash from the 1980 eruptions. A data point of note today on homelessness. The number of people sleeping outside or in emergency shelters in Washington increased by about 2% last year. That's the statewide snapshot from the Department of Commerce. Some state officials told the Seattle Times that's an improvement over pandemic and post-pandemic years, but they worry about a homelessness spike coming from the Trump administration cuts. And the interest in bringing AI to the classroom is growing. Washington's superintendent of schools says he's going to push lawmakers to fund artificial intelligence tools in classrooms. Superintendent Chris Rakedahl tells TVW he'll ask lawmakers for about $10 million for a pilot program to use AI tools for math tutoring and to train teachers on the technology. Turning to our science beat today, starting with a major space finding. A Northwest scientist has helped discover a new moon orbiting Uranus. Northwest Public Broadcasting's Lauren Patterson reports.
At just 6 miles in diameter, the 29th moon orbiting Uranus is also the smallest. That's according to University of Idaho physics professor Matthew Hedman, who was part of the team that made the discovery. Hedman says the 13 rings encircling Uranus are exceptionally narrow, and the icy giant's moons are orbiting so closely that their gravitational pulls can tug on each other, leading to collisions.
It indicates we don't really understand what's going on in this system, and that tells us there's still a lot about how things are going on in space that we still need to learn.
He says understanding how the moons interact could help scientists learn more about the physics of asteroid belts. The research team was led by the Southwest Research Institute. I'm Lauren Patterson, reporting.
The scoop on sea lions today. States and tribes in the Pacific Northwest will be allowed to keep killing sea lions in order to protect Columbia River salmon. The federal government is renewing a permit that allows the removal of California sea lions and Steller sea lions, about 700 in total over the next 5 years. Trapping will be the busiest around Bonneville Dam and Willamette Falls. Scientists reviewing the sea lion policy say past removal efforts have helped shore up the salmon stocks. The U.S. Coast Guard's using federal funds to help recover a World War II-era ship that sank recently in Sinclair Inlet, west of Bremerton. Petty Officer Dalen Garlick says the Guard has contracted with an oil spill response company to contain the environmental risks and raise the vessel.
The Oil Spill Liability Trust Fund is funded through taxes when oil barrels and things like that come into U.S. ports to help clean up spills.
Cardis, a 108-foot yacht built for the Navy in the 40s, was declared abandoned in 2023. The vessel reportedly spilled at least 25 gallons of oil this month. The boat's owner will be responsible for salvage and environmental costs. We'll end on some soccer news. First, King County and the Seattle Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce are offering grants to stir up excitement about next year's World Cup in areas outside of Seattle. KNKX reporter Freddie Menares has more.
The Game Ready activation grants range from $5,000 up to $20,000. They're for businesses and cultural organizations to put on soccer-themed events, such as a youth soccer tournament or soccer watch parties in unincorporated parts of King County. Vaughn Taylor is with the Seattle Metropolitan Chamber of Commerce.
If this soccer-themed event or this downtown festival was started during World Cup and it continues every year, that's a legacy and a win for the region.
The grants are funded by King County's hotel tax revenues. $250,000 is set aside for all of this. Recipients must put on free, family-friendly events that take place before December 27th of this year. In Seattle, I'm Freddie Menares.
And finally, a unique professional soccer match gets underway tonight in Seattle. There will be no in-person fans. Seattle Reign FC will finish a game against Racing Louisville FC that was halted during play on Sunday due to a player's medical emergency. Louisville player Savannah DeMello collapsed on the field for unknown reasons, but was eventually stabilized. The teams finish their game at Lumen Field tonight at 5, and it's closed door, but broadcast live. Next time on Seattle Now, the change that's unnerving high school students across Seattle.
They really want one lunch. They feel like that allows enough students to participate in clubs, that allows them to get help with extra homework or tutoring that they need from their teachers, and it allows them to socialize with everyone in the school.
Hear that Wednesday morning. And that's all for today from the KUOW newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, and I'm Paige Browning. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. See ya.